Hi, welcome to 10 minutes of commercial-free news for the classroom. From the CNN Center, I'm Carl Azus. We're kicking off today's show with a rundown of the headlines. President-elect Barack Obama asks the governor of Illinois to resign. As we reported yesterday, federal authorities say that Governor Rod Blagojevich tried to sell Obama's open Senate seat for personal gain. Blagojevich, who is free on bail, was back in his office yesterday. State lawmakers are discussing how to fill that Senate vacancy. A proposed bailout for the auto industry might have hit a roadblock. Yesterday, congressional Democrats and the White House reached an agreement on a $14 billion bailout loan for car makers. Now, a bill passed in the House last night, but the plan doesn't look like it has enough support in the Senate. And of course, to become law, it would have to pass both houses of Congress. And the Prime Minister of Greece condemns the violent riots that have engulfed the European nation since a teenager was allegedly shot and killed by police last Saturday. The accused officer's lawyer says tests show the policeman didn't shoot directly at the teen. The Prime Minister says the only thing inspiring the rioters is destruction.
Time for the shout-out. What word describes the study of how diseases are spread and controlled? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it phrenology, epidemiology, phlebotomy, or taxonomy? You've got 3 seconds. Go! Epidemiologists examine the cause and transmission of infectious diseases. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
And epidemiologists are rushing to try and control a cholera outbreak in the African nation of Zimbabwe. Cholera is an infectious disease. It's characterized by diarrhea, vomiting, and cramps. According to the World Health Organization, this current outbreak has killed about 775 people and infected more than 15,000 others. This same disease raged through parts of London about 150 years ago. Atika Schubert explores how the lessons from that epidemic might be applied to the current one.
The harrowing images of Zimbabwe's cholera victims are an echo of earlier portraits of London in the 1850s, when disease ravaged the city, spread by the same bacteria, Vibrio cholerae.
Well, in this house here,
Paul Fine is a professor of public health. He shows us the very spot where in 1854, British doctor John Snow discovered the problem was in the water.
John Snow was the first person to recognize that cholera is primarily a waterborne infectious disease. And in Zimbabwe now, with the terrible economic conditions, you've had a breakdown of infrastructure of water and sewage, leading to widespread contamination of water and food supplies, and that's what's led to the cholera epidemic. That's what happened in microcosm right there.
Snow plotted London's cholera deaths on a map, proving that all the victims drank from the same water source, at a pump stationed right outside this pub, contaminated by sewage. Coming here to the John Snow pub has become a sort of pilgrimage for budding epidemiologists. In fact, in this guest book, there are signatures from the United States, Greece, Egypt, and over here from Zimbabwe. Today, cholera is normally easily prevented and treated with clean water, good sanitation, and access to quick medical care for victims. Zimbabwe's problem, a health system and water infrastructure so broken that people have no access. The death toll is soaring, and the epidemic is now spreading across borders.
Less than 1% of the people affected by cholera normally die from this. So this is a very, very high case fatality rate we're seeing. And the longer this goes on, if health centres aren't functioning, if medicines aren't distributed, the worse this will get, the more cases we'll see.
The solution for cholera as a disease was found here in London more than a century ago. But Zimbabwe's cholera crisis today is as much about politics as medicine. Atika Schubert, CNN, London.
The Zimbabwean government has declared a national emergency as it battles this disease. One expert says the crisis could last for months. Relief groups are working to get medical aid to the victims, and you can help. Head to the Spotlight section at cnnstudentnews.com and find out how you can impact your world. Well, the holiday break is approaching, so it's a good time to talk about vacation. Maybe you're planning to visit family. Maybe you'll hit up a theme park while you're out of school. For some people, though, the idea of the perfect getaway involves getting up close and personal with nature. And these tourists aim to aid the environment while they're sightseeing. Take nothing but photographs and leave behind nothing but footprints. So goes the creed of ecotourism. Also known as nature tourism, this is the environmentally conscious way to travel. Its goals are not only to observe wildlife in the environment, but to preserve them as well. And this is done when governments, environmental groups, indigenous people, and of course the traveler all work together. It's still a vacation though. Ecotourists may tread the paths of rainforests or swim with sharks. People travel halfway around the world to see gorillas in their native habitat, so it's profitable for host countries to protect their fauna. Hence the saying, wildlife pays, so wildlife stays. The challenge for popular destinations is accommodating everyone who wants to see them without destroying parts by building bigger hotels on natural landscapes or hosting large crowds that could trample or litter pristine locations. So if you're looking to join an eco tour, you can expect smaller groups of tourists, native tour guides who both know the land and how to take care of it, and part of the money you spend going back to the community you visit. Planet in Peril Battle Lines. It premieres tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on CNN. It's awesome. You don't want to miss it. But before you teachers tune in, check out our discussion questions. They help students explore the concepts covered in the program. You can find those at your favorite website, cnnstudentnews.com.
Is this legit? The coyote is a member of the family Felidae. Nope, coyotes are classified as Canidae, the dog family, and their name comes from an ancient Aztec term.
Coyotes, or coyotes, are known for their howls. When it comes to humans, the animals are usually more bark than bite. They generally fear and try to avoid us. But there are some exceptions, and when one went after a couple brothers recently in Colorado, one of the boys fought back. Russell Haythorne of affiliate KMGH in Erie breaks down the battle.
Snowboarding on the golf course behind their house is routine for the Sandlin boys. Little did Tony know this past Thursday he was about to embark on his own Indiana Jones-like harrowing tale.
I was scared.
A run-in with a coyote.
Vincent saw a coyote up there, but I didn't. I wasn't screaming really loud, but I was screaming, "Tony! Tony!" And then he started running circles around me.
Tony kept his snowboard between himself and the coyote.
And wherever he went like that. And then he stopped and went the other way and bit him.
The coyote attacked.
I pushed him away, and then he started circling me again.
Tony then got his own lick in with his snowboard.
So then I whacked him like this.
The coyote eventually took off.
And then he just sat here with his head peeking up.
Tony's mom, Stacy, rushed him to the hospital.
I was really worried that this might have been a sick animal, just because it's unusual behavior for a coyote.
The incident has the neighborhood on guard, but not paranoid.
We need to probably be very conscientious about not going out in the evening.
And the Division of Wildlife is keeping a close eye out here. As for Tony, he's got some nasty bruises, while the coyote may have broken skin. The adventure hasn't broken their playful spirit.
If you're watching this, peace out.
Thanks, Tony. Now, before we go, if the idea of marriage isn't scary enough, try tying the knot from 170 feet up in the air. This courageous couple took the plunge last week. Figuratively speaking, they didn't fall off. They exchanged vows in a restaurant that just happens to hang from a crane. The bride said they've been wanting to find an unusual way to celebrate their ceremony. Yeah, they found it. So how did they feel when all of this was over? Like any newlyweds, they were floating on air. We're going to see you again tomorrow to close out the week. You guys have a great day.